On today's Disney Roundup, Disney's newest changes being made to Genie Plus and Lightning Lane, new details shared on Country Bear Musical Jamboree, and I share my thoughts on Tiana's Bayou adventure. I have all that and more for you coming up right here on the DRU.
To infinity and beyond!
I'm in the mood to help you, dude. You ain't never had a friend like me.
Hey everyone, Jeff here, and welcome to the Disney Roundup, where I bring you up to date with all the latest Disney and Disney Parks news. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and hit that like button for me, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to receive the Disney Roundup each and every single week. Starting with Parks news, starting later this month, Walt Disney World will be making changes to Disney Genie Plus and Lightning Lane. On July 24th, Walt Disney World will introduce new names for their Skip the Line feature. Disney Genie Plus service will become Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, while individual Lightning Lane will now be known as Lightning Lane Single Pass. Disney will also be updating Lightning Lane passes so that you can make Lightning Lane plans for your park day, choose your experiences and times prior to purchasing so you know what you're getting, and book Lightning Lane passes for multiple vacation days all in a single day. When you purchase Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, you may make up to 3 Lightning Lane selections in a theme park in advance of your visits. You'll also be able to choose available times as you make your selections. On the day of your visits, once you use a selection, check the My Disney Experience app for availability to make an additional selection. Lightning Lane Single Pass will work much like it does today, where you can secure a time to ride one of the more popular attractions, but you'll now be able to make your purchase and plan in advance. Guests staying at a Disney Resort hotel and other select hotels will be able to plan Lightning Lane passes up to 7 days in advance for their entire stay for up to 14 days. All other guests can plan up to 3 days in advance. Lightning Lane passes will blend features from current services and from FastPass Plus, giving guests the choice to plan ahead and removing the hassle of planning during their vacation. Disneyland Resort will also use the new Lightning Lane Multi-Pass beginning July 24th. Based on the different ways guests visit Disneyland Resort, the way guests purchase, select, and redeem Lightning Lane passes at Disneyland Resort will remain the same. Let me know what you think of these changes in the comments down below. Set to open later next week, Disney has revealed new details on the characters in Country Bear Musical Jamboree. The Bears are preparing a knee-slapping and toe-tapping kind of show with reinterpreted Disney tunes from bluegrass to Americana, rockabilly, and more. Before the fiddling begins on July 17th, though, Disney has shown a behind-the-scenes tour with a special look at Who's Who. After an inspirational hibernation, Ursus H. Bear set out to create a permanent cultural showplace dedicated to America's music heritage. In 1898, Ursus established Grizzly Hall to present zany and captivating performances in a show that quickly became known as a wild and woolly good time. Years later, Ursus's grandson Henry took over. He even helped develop the current show and co-wrote the opening song with the 5 Bear Rugs. Speaking of the 5 Bear Rugs, there's Zeke, Zeb, and Ted, and Fred, and a bear named Tennessee, and they're all playing with real old country rhythm. One of the Country Bear's most veteran performers is the one and only Trixie. After trying everything, she eventually found her niche for performing. Now fans can find her singing away with triplets Bunny, Bubbles, and Beulah. Originally known as the Sunbonnets, these girls recently turned their bonnets for Stetsons when they began singing with Trixie around the world, including a sold-out engagement at Royal Ursa Hall. Not to be outdone by Trixie is the jewel of the Dakotas, Teddy Bear. Her rise in showbiz was meteoric after being discovered in an ice cream parlor. Wendell, on the other hand, was a frustrated basketball, baseball, and football player until Henry invited him to try carrying a tune, and he's been part of the Country Bears gang ever since. Ernest the Dude is one of the best dressed bears guests will see at Grizzly Hall. He brings the entire wardrobe wherever he goes. Ernest and Trixie aren't the only actors in the Bear Band. Terrace, aka Shaker, once a famous theater star until a fall from the balcony in Romeo and Juliet brought the house down quite literally. Speaker of starting a new chapter, one bear is ready to enter his next era of singing rockabilly, being Romeo McGraw. Resident piano player Gomer also knows a thing or two about rebrands, having been classically trained since he was a cub. Gomer's favorite composition before switching to country and western music was Night on Bear Mountain. And of course, what would the Country Bears be without Big Al? There's music in his bear's blood, and he's been playing the guitar since he was a child. The Country Bears are like one big happy family, and hope that you'll be coming back again when the Country Bear Musical Jamboree opens July 17th at Magic Kingdom. Guests attending Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween parties this year, be aware that you'll be able to ride Tiana's Bayou Adventure during the event. Now showing on the Tiana's Bayou Adventure page on the Walt Disney World website, it's now showing posted hours of operation for the ride on dates of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. On party dates, it shows its normal day operating hours along with special ticketed event hours that go from 7 p.m. to midnight. Disney has confirmed the ride will be available during party nights as it's been added to the list of attractions on Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party page, and shows it will offer a standby queue along with Tron Light Cycle Run. This is the first time both Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Tron will offer a standby queue for the ride. Guests planning on visiting Magic Kingdom for the remainder of the month, be aware that all stage shows on Cinderella Castle have been canceled. From now until July 27th, there will not be Cinderella Castle stage shows taking place at the Magic Kingdom. This due to refurbishment taking place on the stage, as there is now scrim covering it with signage that says, "With sincerest apologies, please pardon our pixie dust, the royal court at behest of the king and queen." Per WDW News Today, the refurbishment of the stage is said to be due to preparation for holiday events like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Now into company news, set for release this fall, Disney has released the first trailer for Agatha All Along. Disney Plus has released a new trailer for the upcoming Marvel Television live-action series Agatha All Along. The series focuses on Catherine Hahn's character, Agatha Harkness, from the acclaimed Marvel Studios series WandaVision as she sets off on a dangerous, mischievous adventure filled with trials and tribulations. In Agatha All Along, the infamous Agatha Harkness finds herself down and out of power after a suspicious goth teen helps break her free from a distorted spell. Her interest is piqued when he begs her to take him under the legendary Witch's Road, a magical gauntlet of trials that, if survived, rewards a witch with what they're missing. Together, Agatha and this mysterious teen pull together a desperate coven and set off down the road. Agatha All Along premieres on Wednesday, September 18th at 6 p.m. Pacific Time and 9 p.m. Eastern, with the first 2 episodes exclusively on Disney Plus. And if you want to watch the trailer, I'll leave a link to that in the description down below. Alright everyone, that's it for this week's episode of the Disney Roundup. Before I go though, today I thought I would share my thoughts and give a little review of what I thought of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. As I mentioned last week, over this past week I was at the opening day of Tiana's Bayou Adventure at the Magic Kingdom. Before I go into my review though, I just want to clarify again, before I even got to go down and ride the ride itself, I didn't spoil anything for myself. Now of course, I did catch a couple glimpses on social media as Disney, before the ride opened, had showed a couple previews of inside, like the finale scene. They did post a full ride POV on their YouTube channel. I did avoid that though, so everything was fairly new to me. That, and I was a big fan of Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain was my favorite ride on property, so being able to go back in it was very nice again, but also bittersweet as I know I'll never get to ride that there again. Now overall, for the ride itself, I have to say I really do like it. Now, I think what makes it successful too is that they took everything that made Splash such a great ride and included that in Tiana's Bayou Adventure, but they sort of had an advantage here with adding in the new advanced audio animatronics and new technology that they didn't have or have yet when they first made Splash Mountain. The only thing I would say the ride doesn't have right now is that nostalgia factor that Splash had for myself and with many others. And I'm not saying that it's a perfect ride, because it isn't by any means. I have one critical complaint about it and a few like nitpicky things, but overall, I think it's a really good ride. So overall, the ride, the theming itself is really good, but there is a few things that I could nitpick at, like after the first lift hill. Once you come around the drop and see the flowers there out in the water, you can see the bottom, so that's something I would like to change. Along with past that, the fence with the vegetables and other things painted on it, I'm not the biggest fan of that, but that isn't the end of the world. Now, when you first go inside is really one of the wow moments of the ride, as I believe the theming here was nailed perfectly. I really like how they make it dark on the inside, and I'm sure they do that to cover up some things, but they do it in a way where it fits so well, and I believe they do that really well with the ceiling as that's fully covered, something that Splash didn't have, which I will critique on, and the walls have projections on them, which I think work really well if you're going to include screens in the ride. But overall, the music's fantastic in the ride, and all of the animatronics look good, despite there not being as many as there were in Splash Mountain. I think there's a perfect amount of the advanced audio animatronics in Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Now, I have to say, my biggest complaint of the ride is when Mama Odie shrinks you down to the size of the ants and you go into the room that was formerly the laughing place. I just feel like there's not a lot going on in there. Like, there's a few animatronics and decor, but I feel like even though you're really tiny and the size of an ant, there could be more added. My biggest grief with the ride, though, is in that room. Tiana and Louis are looking at you from the outside, and they use a screen to show them with not the best art in my opinion. One thing I really do like though with Tiana's Bayou Adventure is I don't know what they did, if they added more water to the drop or not, but you get a lot more wet than I remember than you did on Splash Mountain during its final days. So if you're a person that doesn't want to get wet on the ride, be aware of that or don't ride in the first row. And of course, you've probably seen pictures or videos of it, but the real highlight of the ride is the finale scene. There's so much going on there. The music's great with the new original song, Special Spice, so I really like that. Another thing I like about the ride is while it is using IP from a movie, it's not retelling the story of a movie or kind of giving you the short story of that film. It is new and original content that of course does go past the story of the Princess and the Frog, which explains in the ride why there's no Dr. Facilier. So overall, again, I think the ride is just as good, maybe better than Splash Mountain does. The only thing I think it's missing is that nostalgia factor, but I think over time, once people get past Splash Mountain, people will learn to enjoy it. That's all you for this week though on today's Disney Roundup. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit that like button for me, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to receive the Disney Roundup each and every single week. So you for this week, and until next time, we'll see you on the DRU.